I've been anticipating this review ever since it was announced, and now it's finally here. Just so you know, I haven't seen Teen Titans Go since 2013. It's never held my interest, and I'm in the majority of people that do not like it. I will, however, try to do my best to cover both properties this episode instead of simply focusing on the Powerpuff Girls themselves. My general stance on this crossover is that it felt more like a promotion for the Powerpuff Girls reboot than anything else. The girls also act a lot differently in this episode compared to their behavior in their own show, but I'll get more into that as the plot goes on. Without further ado, let us begin. Mojo Jojo is seen in his volcano lab plotting to destroy the city of Townsville by using his cybernetically enhanced battle monkeys. The Powerpuff Girls show up and thwart his plan without breaking a sweat, but he blasts them with his certified Powerpuff Girls repellent and gets away in a teleporter to another dimension. It is one where, and I quote, "superheroes do not care about stopping villains." So, what does this repellent do exactly? The girls don't seem to be affected by it in the slightest, and they fully acknowledge that.
So, we're just gonna wait for this poisonous fog to clear and then go after him, right? Right.
Oh, and the narrator's a character again.
A world where superheroes do not battle villains? What kind of awful place could that be?
Now we're in Jump City, and Cyborg and Beast Boy remind me once again of why I never watched this show. Mojo appears in front of them, and it doesn't take much to convince him to help him take over the world. As the three of them leave the room, Robin hears the narrator and starts speaking to him, but apparently Raven and Starfire cannot, so they chastise him for it. The Powerpuff Girls enter the room and warn them about Mojo, but the Titans just mock them for being young.
Well, I am Chico, and that's Chewy and Chappy.
What's wrong with these guys?
I wish this is what the girls normally looked like in their own show. The outlines, while not as thick as the classic ones, are at least visible. Mojo is seen robbing a bank and breakdancing while Beast Boy and Cyborg consider if they should tell the others where they are. Beast Boy mentions that he left a note at home, so the episode uses it as a segue back to the Titans Tower where the other three find said note. Since Beast Boy can't write in full sentences, the Titans misinterpret the note as if he is in danger, and I can't really blame them. The girls try to get them to understand that that's what they've been trying to tell them all along, but the Titans go back to calling them babies when in reality they're the ones being immature.
You guys aren't very good at your jobs, are you?
That sounds like a challenge.
How did that sound like a challenge?
Hey, that sounds like me responding to the regular reboot episodes. Robin hears the narrator address the situation and has him describe his exit. This, in my opinion, was the best part of the entire crossover. The way Robin addresses the narrator is something that I personally found to be rather comedic. Now we're at the zoo, and Mojo, Cyborg, and Beast Boy are seen putting Mojo's plan into action while singing a song.
We're a monkey, and it's an army. Monkey army, monkey army.
I wasn't expecting much when it came to this musical number, but I felt it wasn't really necessary since it's the same two words repeated over and over and over and over. I think they could have removed it to save time. But then again,
there's always time for a song.
Mojo is tired, so he takes a nap while Beast Boy and Cyborg finish up his evil plan for him. Hey, Mojo's a green animal. You know who else can be a green animal? I'm just saying, it was a missed opportunity. Back at Titans Tower again, Robin is seen describing the piece of evidence to everyone. Why did he leave in the first place then? The Titans then misinterpret what the girls are saying and challenge them to a competition to see who's better heroes, even though the girls want nothing to do with it. He tries to search for clues to prove he's a better investigator than Blossom, but she just takes it from him and reads that they're at the zoo. The six of them arrive and Bubbles and Starfire argue over who should try to defeat the apes guarding the entrance. In the end, Bubbles gets Starfire so frustrated that she fires her eye lasers and Bubbles directs them at the guards. Something about the delivery of this line just irks me, but I don't know what.
I'll handle these defenses.
Buttercup then goes around destroying all of the robotic creations Mojo has protecting the zoo, and Raven does nothing to try and intervene.
I just remembered. I don't care.
She destroys all of the machines and that clears the way to Mojo's lab. Mojo tries to unveil his battle monkeys, but Cyborg and Beast Boy turn them into party monkeys and ruined his plan all along. Mojo doesn't take kindly to this, so he traps them in a cage and uses them as bait for when the Powerpuff Girls show up. Robin hears the narrator again and comes up with a plan to stop him, so they do just that. The Titans disguise themselves as the girls so that Mojo uses the repellent on them instead of the real PPGs. Then they give him a beating. Not a very long beating, but a beating nonetheless. Robin admits that the girls are heroes after all, and the girls see it as an opportunity to make up. Then the Titans flip it back on them and state they're the winners anyways.
Wow, really?
And so, once again, the day is saved. No thanks to the Teen Titans.
I will openly admit that there were things about this crossover that I liked. I saw that a lot of other people weren't impressed, and I totally understand why, but allow me to give my 2 cents on the topic. I want to note that this special was written by Emily Brundage, who works on the Powerpuff Girls reboot. If that's the case, why were the girls acting so much differently than in their own show? They acted like a weird mix of the original girls and the reboot girls combined, but I was at least super glad to see Blossom acting like herself. Seriously, can I take a moment to say that Blossom is better here than in any episode of the reboot? She's competent, she's level-headed, she's not a neat freak, and she's not taking shit from Robin. That's the Blossom we know, and that's the Blossom we need. As a whole, this just feels like an episode of Teen Titans Go with the Powerpuff Girls thrown in. It seemed to be an attempt to promote the 2016 show, but nothing more than that. And besides, this crossover was literally titled TTG v PPG, but they never actually fight each other. It was more like the Titans were just mocking the girls because they're childish and can't accept the fact that the girls are better than them. This probably would have been done better if it were a 22-minute special instead of a regular 11 minutes, because it would have allowed more time for things to develop. For a crossover episode especially, it's necessary to establish both sides of the story, and while they did do it here, it was very rushed. The writers were trying to fly through events rather quickly so that they could fit in as much as they could. I bet if it were at 22 minutes, it would have had much better pacing. Mojo Jojo was pretty alright. His repetitive speech returned for a bit, which is better than just referring to himself in the third person. He had his cringy moments, but that opening sequence actually got a chuckle out of me.
Okay, you have thwarted my ingenious plan, but you will never catch me!
Would you believe that this plot has been done before? Because it has. The girls are treated like babies by the Titans, just like the Association of World Supermen and members only. Then there was a competition where the girls faced off against the Titans individually, and they won all 3 times, just like members only. The Titans refused to accept defeat after this, just like the men in members only. The girls defeat the bad guy and the Titans accept them as real heroes, albeit for a brief period, just like members only. This episode is just like members only. Remember the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy and the Kids Next Door crossover? That episode had references every 5 seconds, whether it was Billy mentioning the Powerpuff Girls, them calling the Eds, or all of those characters flying out of that face at the end. I was very disappointed to see nothing like that was present here. If you're a fan of the original Teen Titans and the original Powerpuff Girls, and you dislike Teen Titans Go and the Powerpuff Girls reboot, then you're probably not going to like this crossover that much. If you are a fan of either show, then I can at least recommend it since it appeals to both sides enough, though it leans a bit more towards Teen Titans Go style. Hopefully this gives you an idea on where I stand with this reboot. It did some things wrong, it did some things right, and there were a few missteps here and there. Looking back, I think I like this crossover because the girls are actually competent characters. Sure, the Titans are still stupid, but what do you expect? This makes me think that maybe, just maybe, Emily can actually get them right in season 2. I've got my fingers crossed.
A, B, C. This place is the worst.